it is time to get started. Hey, welcome to AtTheTrack.live. I am Coach James. I am the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics? Glad you asked, even if you didn't ask. All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics related topics, including, but not limited to, friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic energy, elastic force, a range of topics. After we have gone through all the science, scoot my chair over a little bit, after we have gone through all the science and conducted experiments to drive home those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student gets the opportunity to select a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned in the course. Once they have selected their cars, they take a picture of their car, they weigh their car, they test the speed of their cars, they check the year the car was manufactured, the materials the car is made from, all the information that they can observe, they document in a spreadsheet, and then all that's left is to take the cars to our 1/64 scale quarter-mile drag strip, and they race the cars and observe how their cars performed. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select that car again, or would they make a different choice based on everything that they've learned in the course? In the end, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars, and we learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program, All About Aerodynamics, you can go to our website, aaAerodynamics.com, or you can visit us on Instagram, aaAerodynamics, and all the information you need is right there in the bio. You can contact me and figure out how to bring our program to your school or your organization or your special event. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is All About Aerodynamics presents AtTheTrack.live. So what is AtTheTrack.live? Well, before I can bring in all of those cars for the students to use, I have to make sure that I have them properly cataloged and organized so that I know which cars the students are using. I put them in the right place, bring them back, have them ready for the next group of students. And I have a lot of cars in storage that I haven't opened up and I haven't been able to introduce into the fleet because I haven't cataloged them properly. So AtTheTrack.live gives me the opportunity to go into storage, grab some of those cars, crack them open. We'll do a little review. I'll get my picture. I'll get my little short video. And then boom, those cars are entered into the fleet. And I have the information on my master spreadsheet. And all of the information I need, and the students can use those cars. We are currently up to 942 cars. There are 942 cars in the fleet currently, and we are going to add more cars today. We're on that steady march towards 1,000 cars in the fleet. But here is the thing. I'm going to introduce some cars into the fleet today, but you have the opportunity to participate as well. And all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live. And when you do that, there's going to be 3 options. One is the Twitch stream link. One is the YouTube stream link, which you don't need because you're already here. The third link is the most important link. That is the one that says choose your car. If you select that option, you will be taken to this page. And on this page, you will be able to scroll through and see all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics AtTheTrack.live fleet. There are all kinds of cars in here. Every kind of Hot Wheels car that you can imagine is represented. Even if we don't have the exact car that you're looking for, we have something similar. We have station wagons, we have fantasy cars, we have Lamborghinis, we have old school Chargers, Challengers, we have Gran Torinos, we have Piranha Terra, cars like fish. This isn't the only fish car we have. We've got a Piranha Terra car, we've got the Finding Nemo car, we've got multiple shark-related cars, which, hey, Roughshod, hey, Christopher, Roughshod has picked a seafood-themed car to race. So we have, and not only, so we have the fish cars, but we actually do have a seafood-themed car because we have a sushi tuner. We have, there's a taco car, there's a hot dog car, there's a car that's a slice of birthday cake, there's a Jell-O mold car. If food is your thing, then we've got you covered. Cars from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, some of those cars from the 70s and 80s, all metal, heavy cars. Last week, Christopher picked one. It was the Beach Patrol. It was a truck that I had when I was a kid, and old school car, metal on metal. It was very heavy. Here's another one, this 57 T-Bird. Another one that I had when I was a kid, metal on metal, heavy. Or you can go light. We've got plastic on plastic, and we've got these gimmick cars. This one, the Hollowback, is one that was in a McDonald's Happy Meal in the early 2000s, and it used to have a light that came on the inside. I'd hit the little switch, and the light would come on. I saw a YouTube video where a guy had one of these and took it apart. The difference is on the bottom, his had a screw, and mine had the regular kind of Hot Wheels rivets, so the only way I would have been able to open this up and change the battery, it takes a little watch battery, and open it up and change the battery would be to drill into it, and I'm not going to do that to have a little LED light come on inside the car. So that's it. Yeah, there's the donut. Yeah, the donut drifter as well. We've got all kinds of cars. Matter of fact, with the donut drifter, I got it. It's in the other room, but they made a that semi-truck line. So it's got the semi-truck, but then it's got the trailer, and the trailer is like a donut box, and it's got holes in it, and so you can put. I have a couple of donut drifters in there, and I need to take a picture and post that. I like it. But yeah, we've got all kinds of cars, and you have the opportunity to find the car that you want to race. And once you find that car, let's say it's this one. Let's say it's the Kit Kart, number 275. You take that number, 275, drop it in the chat. I will pull that car, and boom, just like that, you are entered into today's tournament. And in today's tournament, you have the opportunity to try and beat out all the other cars that are picked, and then you also will have the opportunity to try and beat out our fastest in fleet car. And our fastest in fleet car is, and has been, our 3-time champion, which is currently this one. It is the BlitzSpeeder. If you've been watching for any amount of time, you have seen this car. You've seen it on the track. You've seen what it can do. It is absolutely one of the fastest Hot Wheels cars on the planet. I used to say it was, just sort of definitively, but recent weeks and over the last year, we found out that the BlitzSpeeder can be beaten, but it's not. That's not typical. It's very unusual for the BlitzSpeeder to be beaten, and when it is beaten, that's kind of big news around these parts. It has been very dominant for the majority of the time it's been on the track. Oh, let me get some light on the champ. I'm being disrespectful. I have the lights off on the little car stage. There. All right, now we're talking. Now we can have a little bit of add a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of shine to the champ. The BlitzSpeeder is a three-time champion. It was our champion last year for 17 weeks. Around this time last year, it was the champion. It ran into the Gazella R. The Gazella R beat it, and the Gazella R went on to be champion for 16 weeks. After that, then the BlitzSpeeder came back in a rematch, beat out the Gazella R, went on a long run for most of this year. The BlitzSpeeder was the champion, and then it ran into the Dogfighter. It was the craziest episode I think we've had. The Dogfighter came in, beat the BlitzSpeeder, and then that next week was actually the craziest episode, because that next week I created a new acrylic cover to make sure that the race was fair between the taller cars and the shorter cars. We raced the cars. The Dogfighter beat the BlitzSpeeder again. Then Roughshod had picked the slide kick. The slide kick came in and won that day's tournament and ended up going up against the Dogfighter, beat the Dogfighter, became the champion, but then couldn't leave well enough alone. We had to find out, could the slide kick beat the BlitzSpeeder? BlitzSpeeder versus slide kick. BlitzSpeeder beat the slide kick. And here we are with the third time. The third run is champion, the BlitzSpeeder. So the BlitzSpeeder is not as invincible as it once seemed, but it is still one of the fastest Hot Wheels cars, period. And we actually have something that we're going to try today, because this BlitzSpeeder, this one is the champion, and that is the one that is going to be representing and facing whichever car comes out of the tournament today. But what we know is on Wednesdays, we have Wind Tunnel Wednesdays. We put these cars in the 1/64th scale wind tunnel from Funtech Labs, the Winsible, and we turn on the air streams and we can see how the air flows over, under, and around these cars, and we can get an idea about how drag is going to impact these cars, because that's one of the three forces that is going to impact these cars when they're going down our track: drag, friction, and gravity, with drag being the most important. And the BlitzSpeeder, what we found out is the BlitzSpeeder's design, its aerodynamic profile, is the best that we've seen. And it is a car where the air simply flows right over the body of the car, from the hood to the windshield to the roof line, right to the back, off this wing. And it's pretty much ideal. Now, what we did was we took another BlitzSpeeder. We've had BlitzSpeeder versus BlitzSpeeder races before, and that's not anything new, because we did that to see if, was it just that this BlitzSpeeder was special, or were all BlitzSpeeders special? Turns out all BlitzSpeeders are pretty special because of the design. It's the design that is the thing that is making them so competitive and perform so well on our track. But I had an idea, had a question. It's always science, always trying to experiment. What happens if we do this? If we remove this little canopy from the driver's compartment, now we've got this convertible BlitzSpeeder. So got another BlitzSpeeder, popped the top off, and now we've got a convertible. When we put this in the wind tunnel, what we saw is that the air was coming up and it was going into this area, it was hitting the seats, and then the air was flowing up out of there. So we know that there's a different aerodynamic profile that happens when you remove this canopy. So we're going to race these two cars, and we're going to see which car comes out on top, because there is going to be additional drag with this car because this area is exposed. However, what we're going to also find out is the weight difference, because this canopy coming off, it weighs something, and that's going to change the weight. So with the canopy, both these cars weigh the same. Without the canopy, this one's lighter. I don't know how much lighter. We're going to find that out. And then, does the fact that this one's lighter, will that make up for the difference in the additional drag? So it's going to be interesting to see. I raced both of these cars with the canopy. So I marked one. I think this one, I put a little mark on the bottom so I could know which one was which. And I raced these cars together about 20 times when they both had the shell on, just to make sure that they were pretty even. And I think the races probably, I haven't counted it up, but I think the races kind of balanced out. So it was probably pretty even. There wasn't any big difference with either car. It's the same car. Hey, Virgo, 92. Okay, I will put that down. And there wasn't much of a difference in the performance of the cars, so it should be interesting to see. I don't know. I think the weight, that whole weight question, is going to be important. I want to know exactly how much that little canopy weighs. Let me just write this down. Virgo 92. All right. And so that is one of the races that we are going to have today. And we will take a look at, I'll pull Virgo's car, I will pull Roughshot's car, and then Christopher has two cars that he's considering, and he didn't get an opportunity to see them in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, so we will put them in the wind tunnel today, and we will find out which car is going to be his pick to be entered into the tournament today. And let's see, video race with the new. So Christopher mentioned right here, I have been working on creating a new video racer, and I got this video camera, and it's narrow enough to go down our track. We just need a base. And so now there are 7 different bases that I've made and that I'm considering using, so I can attach the camera to each of those 7. And I have a separate track that has speedometers on it to test the speed. I just haven't set up the cameras on that track and gotten that organized. As soon as I do, then what we'll do is look at all 7 of those, and whichever, we'll mount the camera to each base, and whichever car is fastest, whichever base camera combination is fastest, that will be the new Hot Wheels video racer, and we'll be using it up and down the track to get that kind of first-person perspective on the races. All right, so I went into storage, and I'm trying to, kind of work through things. And I came across this, which I think I've obviously used some of these cars before. This was an 8-pack. And usually when I buy packs like this, like 8-packs or 5-packs, there's one car in there that I want, but it's in the 8-pack, so I end up just buying the pack. This is the case. I don't remember what car it was that I wanted out of this pack, but there are still 4 cars left, and so I kept moving this box around, and then I'm thinking, all right, why don't I just get the cars? So I believe I checked, well, I did check, and these cars are not currently in the fleet, so all 4 of these cars are going in today. So these cars out of this 8-pack are going in, and kind of interesting. So we'll see what we've got first. First up, we have this Corvette C8R, which I presumed, and I guess I need to double check, because I know we have a lot of Corvettes, and they are not, sometimes there's just slight differences and difference in the year, but I thought we already had one. Corvette, we have a Corvette we have a C6, we have 3 C7s, a C7R, but this is the C8R. So this one's going in. And let's check the weight on this. We know that the BlitzSpeeder is coming in at 32.4 grams. This one, this Corvette, is at 30.8 grams. So it's a little lighter car, but it is one that we're going to take a look at now. And let me go ahead and switch this over to the video and grab this video of this one. This is the Corvette C8R, and it's, I mean, kind of an ideal supercar style. It's got the flat wing at the back. Aerodynamics, the profile looks pretty good. Yeah, I don't really see any problems with this car. Coming out, car number 943, Corvette C8R, and let's see. I mean, there's really nothing. It's kind of a standard. Like, we have so many cars that look like this. Not exactly like this, but when you start talking about the Lamborghinis and the Bugattis and some of the Jaguars, you know, they all kind of have this same general look. Now, this one, there does seem to be a little bit more kind of frontal area on this car. And as I always mention, on the real cars, these cars have openings so that they can direct the airflow, you know, through, in, and around the car. The Hot Wheels versions don't have that. They have, like, they'll have the grills, but on the real car, there's probably some openings here so that the air can flow through. That doesn't happen here. And what we see when we put these in the wind tunnel is that the air will build up right in the front, and then it has to go over, under, and around. So we'll see how that plays out, because when you compare that to, say, the BlitzSpeeder, you see how little frontal area there is. It's pretty much non-existent. So that is something to keep in mind when we race this one. Let me see what the manufacturing year is. 2020. So we've got the Corvette C8R, manufactured 2020. So we're good to go there. All right, let's see the next car up in the pack, and the weight. The weight on this one is it's just under kind of that sweet spot of 32 to 36 grams, but it feels pretty solid. It doesn't feel like a light car. So that might help it out. That might work in its favor in the end. Let's see. Where are we going? Where are we going next? Oh, we're going luxury. We're going with this Mercedes-Benz 500E. Going with this one. There's no year on this, but this looks like one of those 90s Benzes. Comes in at 37.4 grams, so it's a little bit heavier, a little bit outside the range that we've designated as the sweet spot. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. It's got a green metal flake paint job, but it's so dark that I'm going to switch out the background just so there's some contrast. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to take a still picture of the Corvette, which is definitely what I need, because I have to get this on the website. So let me switch this here and get this thing lined up just right. They really put in some nice details. Let's see, 500E. Like with the headlights and the grille. When I was at the Mattel at the Legends tour, I didn't get a chance to ask my questions to the designers. Mercedes-Benz 500E. They were there, but the line to talk to them and have them, they were signing prints of different cars they designed. The line was just too long, and so I was more interested in taking a look at all the cars that were there and just getting the footage I needed. They've got a little Hot Wheels emblem right under the Mercedes logo on the trunk lid. It's a nice car. I think with the weight, I don't think it's going to be necessarily a car that does anything impressive on the track, but it's a good looking car. And if we ever end up with a sort of luxury car edition, this might be a car that can compete. And we have, let me get this still picture here, because we are almost, creeping towards 1,000. There's 942 cars is no small feat to catalog. And I remember we started when AtTheTrack.live started. It was at number 450, right around there. So adding in, so there's been about 500 cars introduced so far, and we've got this one. And now let me go back and get that. Oh yeah, thank you. I've got the manufacturing year. Thank you. And let's see. Get the still picture of this Corvette right here. A good looking car. And I guess I technically could have kept that lighter background in for the Corvette, but I did not. And so, there's one other thing I could have done. Should have done. There we go. Get a little bit of highlight on it. Boom. There we go. All right. So we've got two cars here. Let's see. A Matchbox 2023 BMW i4 police sedan. I haven't seen that one. Do you have the Matchbox cars? There's a grocery store that I go to, and all their Matchbox cars are the ones like I showed last week that are in an actual box. They're not in the regular kind of, they're not in the pack like this. They're just in a box. And I don't really like that because you can't see the car. So I'm just wondering if, because I haven't really seen that anywhere else, except there's just this one grocery store that I go to that has them like that. I haven't seen them in boxes anywhere else, but just curious. All right, let's see. Now I just want to make sure I've done it right, because when I took the picture of the BMW, what I didn't do is there's another light I have here to just kind of highlight the car. There we go. Makes it a little easier to kind of see the details. All right, so we've got those. We've got a Corvette. We've got a Mercedes Benz. I don't think in this pack, I don't know what the pack was. Well, actually, yes, I do know what the pack was because I have the box. But there aren't any, no fantasy cars in there. And so the box doesn't say, I mean, there's nothing unique. It just says Hot Wheels 8. I think I may have gotten that at the Mattel store. I don't know. Either way, we have all the cars that are in the pack are just real cars. This next one up is a 2020. It is a 2020 Ford Shelby GT500 right here, and I know we have Shelbys in here, but I'm pretty sure I already checked, and I will double check because I don't want to find out later on that I've doubled up on the cars, but we do not have, let's see, a 20. We have a 20 Camaro, 20 Dodge Charger Hellcat, and a 20 Toyota GR Supra. And if I look at actual 2020 information, we do not have a Shelby. So, 2020 Ford Shelby GT500 is next up. And let's go ahead and take a closer look at that. And another good looking car. I mean, it's not, I like the paint combination. I mean, with the paint and that kind of metallic orange with the black stripes like that. And let me check and see what this car weighs. It is coming in at 35.1 grams. So this one is in that sweet spot. 2020 Ford Shelby GT500. And let's go ahead get this video. Again, it's not a bad looking car. I just don't have, I think of these cars, I would probably be going with that Corvette. If I had to take, I'd go Corvette, then this one, and then that Benz, that Benz would definitely be coming in last. This is 20 Ford Shelby GT500. And let's see, this is car number 945. And okay, so he's saying it reminds me of a NASCAR from last year when they switched to the Ford Mustang Dark Horse, which now that's one that we definitely entered into the fleet recently, because I remember it was dark blue. So we've got the Shelby right here, the GT500. And matter of fact, we had car number 934 is a 1967 Shelby GT500. So I know that they're in here, and they're kind of scattered throughout the fleet. But yeah, that Mustang Dark Horse, car number 923, Ford Mustang Dark Horse. So when I'm talking about Batmobiles, Lamborghinis, Corvettes, I think Mustangs are pretty well represented in our fleet. With this one, the back end, it's a little bit rounded off, a little bit, but I don't think so much that it's going to impact the performance. It does have a very large frontal area right here, and behind there, it's just plastic. So that means that that air is going to build up in the front, and then it is going to, you know, move over, under, and around this thing. But that large frontal area is possibly, likely going to prevent this car from really doing all that well on the track, especially when we start talking about, we get to the higher levels. And the higher levels, I mean, like the BlitzSpeeders, the Gazellas, the Slide Kicks, those cars. It's usually those fantasy cars that don't have to conform to sort of the regular car shape and style rules, and they end up with a bit of an advantage from an aerodynamic standpoint. All right, let's see. The next car that is going to be entered in, I thought we already had one, but we don't. This is a 2012 Volkswagen Beetle, and it is the little Zamac edition. I forget exactly what Zamac. It's like zinc, aluminum, or zinc alloy, blah 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 something, or alloys. Maybe the second A, zinc, aluminum, something. Anyway, the cars look like this. They're pretty much just kind of like the raw. They have this raw metal look, and we're going to. There we go. Yeah, and we just had one. We just had one before, but it was more of the old school. This is kind of like that newer, reintroduced Beetle when they redid those. But we had one just recently. Yeah, car number 927, a Volkswagen Beetle. But it was more that old school Beetle. So let's take a look at this one. The 2012 comes in at 29.4 grams. So again, just a little bit outside of that sweet spot. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at it and see. I like this. I'm curious to see how it's going to do on the track, especially being light, but it's got a different style, different shape. But I'm noticing these cars that are in this pack, if you look at the headlights, got a little treatment. It's got the Volkswagen logo right there in the front, and I think it's a nice combination that kind of works with this car. Just the all silver, the wheels. Usually I'm not too excited about those wheels, but on this car, I think they fit. The tail lights got some love. This one has a little customized license plate. It's got the VW logo on the trunk. Bug Life is the on the license plate. This is the 2012 Volkswagen Beetle. And I don't know how this is going to do on the track. It's light, and it has a different aerodynamic profile than some of the other cars that we've looked at, but I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be, if this is the one. Maybe not. Let's see. That is the thing. With these cars, we can wonder, but then we get to take them to the track and find out, and that is, to me, that's the most interesting part, is we've seen so many races that you can't help but have an idea about how you think the car is going to perform, but until you actually take it to the track, you never know. Because if I just went on what I thought was going to happen, there's certain cars that never would have gotten a shot on the track. And the Dogfighter is probably the best example of that, of me thinking, this car is not going to do much. And then we put it on the track, and it is absolutely the ultimate sleeper car. because there's no way I would have thought it would have done that well. But it did. So we've got this Beetle. Let me take this other still picture of this one, just because I didn't bring in. I want the pictures to be consistent as much as possible. So I try to give them the same kind of light treatment and make sure that there's a little bit of consistency when I line these up, put them on the website. So this is car number 900 and, well, that's car 945. That Beetle is car number 946, and 2012 is the year right here. And let's see, we are going to see which other cars are going to be introduced. Would you pick up? Christopher picked up 83 Porsche 928S. I don't think I've seen that one yet. There was a car, a couple of cars that Roughshod came across that I'm absolutely looking for. There's a new BlitzSpeeder with a different color setup, and yeah, a few other cars. So that's really how I find out. That's how I know what to go look for. I'll watch Roughshod's channel and him going to the different stores, and I'll just kind of see things, and then that's how I know, like, okay, now go when I go out what to look for new. But I haven't seen that. I don't think I've seen that Porsche 928S. All right, so I went in storage, and I knew we needed at least one more car to round out the group. So I just grabbed a bunch of cars, and we're gonna see whichever one of these is not already in the fleet. It's gonna go in. Now here's what, like, didn't we just put this one in here? The 2020 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. Isn't this the exact same car? It is. This is the exact same car. So, okay. So wait, we put that in there. Oh yeah, 2020. So it just didn't say 2020. It just said 20 on the bottom. All right. So now, oh right, the orange BMW. Yeah, I'm definitely looking for that one. All right. So this is a prize car. That one. Okay. All right. What do we have here? We've got a 96 Porsche Carrera, which I feel like we have put one of these in here, but let me double check. My feelings are unimportant when we have a spreadsheet. Let's see. 96. Do we have a 96? I'm in the 70s. I see the 80s. All right, 96. What do we have for 96? We have a 96 Chevy Impala SS. We have a 96 Dodge Viper GTS. And that looks like it. Let me check 1996, because that's, yep. Car number 60. We have a 1996 Porsche Carrera. Let's go ahead and take a look at that and just see whether or not it is the same car. Car 60. And you can go to AtTheTrack.live and you can scroll through and find the car that you would like to race. It's this one. That is the same car. The wheels are different. This is the, who is it? The Magnus Walker Custom Edition here. So when the wheels are different, then it's okay to put it in. But with this, I mean, are the wheels really, this isn't the difference that we had with the Speed Slayer, where one had skinny disc wheels and one had standard wheels. So let me see about the other cars I pulled out. If not, then we'll come back to this one and put this one in the fleet. But for right now, that one's going to be set aside. Let's see. What do we have? What do we have? We have the Drift Ender. This one, which reminds me of that Mailed It, the mail truck that we had, where we cut the wheelie bar off the back. Let me see. Do we have a Drift Ender? It says born 1980 in Solihull, England. Designed by Land Rover. Skids sideways around the corner while maintaining total control in this distinctive drift wagon that's mastered the art of clutch kicking. It ends all drifts by dropping the mic on its competition, making it the true drift ender. Okay. Let me just double check, make sure we don't have a drift ender. Although, let's see. Drift. We have a drift and brake. Don't remember what that is. A drift sta. No drift ender. Well, now we got a drift ender. All right, here we go. Let's crack this one open. Take a look. See what we've got. Hot Wheels. It's from the Hot Wheels, the First Response series. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Cop car, ambulance. I don't know. All right, let's crack it open. All right, the Drift Ender. Let's go check it out. Comes in at 37.6 grams, and I was asking what type of first response vehicle it was supposed to be, and the answer was right there on the hood. Police. All right, let's go ahead and drop this here. And it looks like we will need to use our taller acrylic cover. We'll get to use the new one because this is going to be racing against cars that are shorter. So we'll have one tall side, one low side, which is perfect. All right, we've got the Drift Ender. It is a boxy, Land Rover-y type of G-Wagon-ish setup, and just based on, just aerodynamically speaking, I can't imagine that this car is going to make it beyond, of the cars that we have so far, I would not pick this against any of those, even that Benz, as big as it is. I would not pick this over the Benz. Scroll down here and enter this in. It is car number 947. It is the Drift Ender. And it is, oh, what's this in the back? So the back is open. I can't tell exactly. I'd have to take a closer look to see what that is. But that back part being open, it doesn't really matter because the rest of the car is not open. So if this, for example, didn't have windshields, then the air would flow through the cabin, and that back part might, that opening might matter, but we don't know. So I think, yeah, Beyblader will love it because it's got police on it. It's funny, if I go and pick up a car, let me check the weight, and I'm looking at cars and I see one that has police, I just start picking them up now because of Beyblader was always picking police cars. 37.6 grams, so it's just outside of the sweet spot range. And what's this? Oh, to protect and serve. I was trying to see. It has little words on the side there, but So it's a little interesting. Not sure what this is in the back. Nothing really. It's just kind of like the engine or something, but crates, I don't know. I do have, there's one car, old, like an 80s car that I have that you can look in the back and there's like a motorcycle in there and some stuff, but all right, so we've got our cars that we are going to be considering today, the cars that are going to be in the tournament that are cars new to the fleet. And now we're going to get to the viewer picks. And so we're going to start off with the two that Christopher is considering. And I have those here. So first up, we have the Ford Falcon race car, which you can't see here because it's green. So I'm going to switch over to the other view after I check the weight. This one, 32.9 grams. And I'll put these in the wind tunnel in just a minute after we take a look. So we've got this one. And this one raced, it was not too long ago. It was a couple of weeks ago. And maybe about a month or so ago. And it's kind of like, it reminds me of what I was saying about the Shelby, where there's nothing particularly remarkable about this car. I think it's just sort of a traditional car. It's got a bigger front end, or not a bigger front end, but a lot of surface area right here at the front that the air is going to build up against. But then everything else about it's pretty standard, and I think given the given the weight, I don't really see any much downside. And then the other car that he is considering is this. Where's my? Got to get my magnifying glass because this is not a Hot Wheels car. It's a 2020 Camaro ZL1 LE, and this one weighs in at 38.4 grams, so a little bit outside of the sweet spot. But this is made by Lionel, and this is from the NASCAR series, and this is the Bubba Wallace, that Black Lives Matter Camaro that he raced. And the thing is, with the NASCAR cars, they are in the series, since all the NASCAR cars are pretty much held to the same standard. The cars are pretty much the same. There's just a difference in the design. But unlike the Hot Wheels, like these have all the details. I mean, every sponsor logo, the Goodyear on the tire, just everything that's on the real cars is on these. I had went to 2 NASCAR events they had here in LA. And that's where I ended up getting this. And when it raced before, it was car number 600. So I don't remember how it did, because like I said, we're at 947. So I don't really remember how that car did, but it's interesting because it's definitely it's the only non-Hot Wheels, non-Matchbox car that's in the fleet. So there's that. So we'll throw these in the wind tunnel so Christopher can make his pick. Hey, Never Ending, how you doing? 251, got it. So let me switch over to the wind tunnel situation here, which I'm still waiting on the nozzles to come in. There's some custom, there we go, custom nozzles that the company that makes the Winsible has come out with, so you can change the and adjust the airflow. Make sure this is straight in here, and you'll actually, it's funny because when I do Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, I wanted to be able to do it on Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, but because of the Instagram dimensions, I had to create a version that could show it vertically in the Instagram window if someone was watching there. And so you don't get as close up of a view as you do like right now when you get the full widescreen wind tunnel situation. Right now it's at 67 miles per hour, which is our cruising speed. And you can see where the air is building up just right at the front, and then it has to go over, under, and around. And you can see it kind of right here, but once we turn this up, it should clear this up. When I'm talking about the nozzles, because what we're getting now is a lot of this air just kind of drifting in, and the airflow isn't as defined as it was when I first started using this. So I'm hoping that the new nozzles will help that. All right, this is up to 134 miles per hour, and everything about it is just pretty standard. We're going to push this up, 147. $161. And you still see, like, the air is building up. It builds up right here, and then comes up over the top, and then, you know, it does across the hood, up the windshield to the top, and then back here, what we see with most of these cars is the air does kind of break away. It's not specifically flowing along the body lines of the car. Kind of breaks away here a bit, dips down. So, you know, it's definitely not BlitzSpeeder level aerodynamics, but at the same time it's pretty standard. But my concern is this area here, this high pressure building up here as a result of that big frontal area. It's just what's, I think, gonna possibly hold it back. It's all right. So that is the, what was that, the Falcon, Ford Falcon. And as I say on Wednesday, the thing to look for, that I look for, is right when the airflow starts. You'll see the air come out, and you'll see it hit the car and flow. And you can tell, like, kind of right away what's going to happen. I mean, you can get a sense of what that airflow and that aerodynamic profile is going to be all about when you see it right when it comes on. So watch. When we turn this on, a little bit more light on this car. Watch right when the air comes out, when it hits the car, how it flows. That'll tell you exactly, like, right there. Like, you can kind of see it before it settles in. You just see the air come in. This is at 26. Let's push this up to 67, which is our cruising speed. Blow some of that other smoke out of the way. And once again, you just see both of these cars have that frontal area where the air is kind of building up, and then it has to go around, it has to go over, it has to go under. You can kind of see right there. Now, let's turn this up and get a better look. up to 121 miles per hour. And again, the air is kind of building up in the front, then flowing off and over and around. You can really see, especially with this car being black, there's a lot more contrast with the smoke, so you can kind of get a good solid view of that air. If you look right there, how it's hitting the front, and that air that's coming around the side is coming right there. And you can see it flowing at the top. You can see it flowing right around the front bumper. And get a good look at it there. This is at 147 miles per hour. And that is up to 161. And while that's flowing, it looks like Christopher has made his decision. He's going with this one. Good solid pick. And yeah, that's so let's go ahead and we'll push this up and see if anything changes. Really, as we increase the speed, it just really does just highlight the things that we're already seeing. But I do like the contrast, the fact that this car is a black car, that you can see that contrast and see what's happening with the air coming around the sides, which is something we usually don't get too much of a view of. Plus, with this being on just YouTube and Twitch with the wider screen, you can get a closer look at exactly what's happening. But see, this is what I'm talking about with the airflow. You can see this air, kind of these trails right here, and that's not because of the car, because the air hasn't hit the car yet. That's just some air kind of leaking through the existing nozzle setup, and so I'm hoping that when I get the new ones, it will tighten up that airflow so that we don't get this air kind of leaking here this way. But that's coming. All right, so we have our cars locked in, and now what I need to do is just go pull Virgo's car and Never Endings, and then we will be ready to go. Let me grab this, wipe off. There's a little kind of like a oily, not too much, but a little bit of a kind of residue from that smoke, because I don't know what it's some chemical. It's not toxic, I hope. But they do advise to like wipe the cars off after they come out of the wind tunnel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go pull those other two cars. Then we'll take a look at those and Roughshod's Sharkruiser, and we will be just about ready, one step closer to hitting the track. So I'm going to throw on that bathroom break music. It's not going to take me 5 minutes, but I will be back, and we will get going with the races.
dos, tres.
Flash.
Okay. I will say this. Never ending, never disappoints with his picks. He picked a dogfighter, which was seemingly just the wildest possible pick, but it fit because he'd also picked that tank and some other wild picks. So when I was looking for the car that he picked today, I couldn't find it, and then I was like, wait a minute, is that what he picked? Because I couldn't imagine that was what he picked. But this is what he picked. First of all, I'll tell you the weight before I show you the car. The car weighs 42.5 grams, which is heavy. But, you know, it's not disqualifyingly heavy, it's just heavy. But this is what he picked. Check this out. He picked the Aero-Pod. I mean, I didn't even look to see if that's the name of this thing. But that is what he picked. What? Okay. So the Aero-Pod, and I don't even know what it's got some kind of sci-fi transport vehicle theme. I have no idea. This is, where do you even start? The back end is flat enough, I guess. It looks like it's going to be taller than the position of the launching blocks, which are probably come up to about right here. But the back end is pretty flat, so there's that. It's so tall. Talk about this frontal area. We were talking about the cars. Look at this thing. This is here. I mean, it's got this big skid plate thing here on the front. So the air's going to hit that. Then it's got this huge, massive windshield to deal with, and I think I'm almost certain I'm gonna have to turn the wind tunnel back on, because this is wild. I don't know what this is gonna do. I can't imagine that this is gonna be. It might beat out maybe the Drift Ender, possibly. Maybe, but this is probably the biggest vehicle we will have had on the track and will have raced, period. And just to have some context, this is one of those fast foodie trucks that I usually use as an example for the students, as far as we just want to show basic cars that have bad aerodynamic profiles. That's the one I use, but this thing is massive. So, when we compare it, well, put it like this. Christopher is saying, to put it beside the car he chose for a height or size comparison, there's that. And you can see that there is a difference in the size. But wait, we have one other one, because I pulled Virgo's car. She picked the Motoblade. So let me just tell you what the Motoblade weighs. The Motoblade weighs 28.8 grams, making it our lightest car of the day. And here's the Motoblade. Let's put the Motoblade right next to the Aero-Pod. There we go. And I don't know, I think the Motoblade, I don't know if there was a plastic covering piece that's come up missing. But this is what we've got, the Motoblade. And so let me move this Aero-Pod. I'm calling it that because that's what it's called, the Aero-Pod. So we've got the Motoblade. Now the Motoblade at 28 grams. It's very light. The question that I have with most of the lighter cars is whether or not they are going to slow down toward the back end of the track. Usually drag gets them and they slow down at the back end. They start off pretty fast, but they just don't have the weight to pass, to keep that speed up, and the drag just slows them down the back end of the track. So with this one, that'll be the thing to look out for. See what happens at the back end of the track. Does this start to slow down, and does the other car come up and pass it? We don't know. We will find out. But that's our lightest car. Now we have Rough Shot's pick, which may beat it out. It is coming in at, it absolutely is, 24.1 grams is Rough Shot's pick. It is this one. It is the Sharkruiser. And he put this one in the wind tunnel on Wednesday. And we were talking about where's the metal. And really this purple part is the only metal. Everything else, this silver is plastic. The black part is plastic. This one has there are no openings by the mouth. This is all the black plastic, comes in right under the silver teeth, and it's pretty much sealed up. Aerodynamically, there's not a lot of frontal area, so the air was flowing right back over the top, hitting this dorsal fin, and then back to the engine and right off this tail. This is interesting because it's got a good aerodynamic profile, but now it's so light. It's lighter than this car, lighter than the Motoblade. Now the difference is the Motoblade is metal. All that yellow on the Motoblade is metal. This darker kind of silver is metal. This part is this brighter silver is plastic, but metal, and just a little bit of plastic. Whereas the Sharkruiser, metal, plastic, has 24.1 grams. That is extremely light. Yeah, that Aero-Pod is gonna mean, like, I'm gonna have to. I'm even with the different height acrylic cover I'm still gonna have to raise it up because it's not that tall. So we're gonna be in for an interesting set of races today. We have the Drift Ender, we have the Corvette, that C8R, we have the big body Mercedes Benz 500, we have the Shelby GT500, we have the Volkswagen, the 2012 Volkswagen, that Zamac edition. We have our convertible BlitzSpeeder. We have the regular BlitzSpeeder. That's going to be a special side race that we do afterwards. We have our regular BlitzSpeeder waiting to race whichever car comes out on top. We've got the Lionel Black Lives Matter Camaro. We've got that. So our one non-Matchbox, non-Hot Wheels car that's going to be hitting the track. We've got the massive, monstrous Aero-Pod. We have the lighter-than-air Sharkruiser. And then we have the very minimalist metal Motoblade. So we have a range of cars today. Whichever car comes out on top will have earned it, because it will be going up against a whole range of cars, from big to small, from standard, all, like, everything that we can think of in between. Hey, Caitlin, look at you. All right, glad you're here. You got in just under the wire. So now let's see what car you have picked. We've got car number 84. Yeah, I didn't expect it to be that light either, but it feels light. I thought it would be light, but I didn't think it would be that light. So let's see. Caitlin has picked car number 84. Let's see what that is. And I will go and grab that one. 84 is the Jet Threat 4.0. I think there's a Jet Threat 3.0, but this is the Jet Threat 4.0. Let me go and grab that. That is the best part about having these cars organized, and it's one of those things that it was a hassle to do the first however many 100 cars I was doing them when I was just sitting there doing it. But now that they're organized, you can go and pull the cars with ease. I like that. See, this Jet Threat 4.0 weighs in at 34.9 grams, so it's right in the sweet spot. It is extremely unique looking. Let me see, do these fold down? Okay, so the wings, I'll just put it up here. They fold down, but obviously we are not going to be racing this with the wings folded down. It kind of reminds me of, if you remember, there was an old TV show in the 80s called Mask, and the cars, like you would have a car that would turn into a plane and a motorcycle that turned into a helicopter and this and that. This kind of reminds me of that, like a transformer type mass car that goes from a car to a jet. But we're going to keep those parts locked in, and so this is how it's going to race. And I don't think that those wings will impact it at all. It is metal. All of that red part is metal. That darker silver part in the front, the little chrome pieces, that's also metal. And it's another of that kind of got an airplane-ish kind of theme, but more so on the race car side. The back end, it's got a tall, this wing in the back is pretty tall. But this engine area here is flat, and that will press up nicely right against the launching block. So this should get a good solid push, and we will see how this does. So this car is going to round out our very interesting fleet of cars that we have ready to race today. We are definitely going to be in for some solid races, but if this happens to be the first time that you are viewing an all about aerodynamics at the track live race, this is what you are about to see. You are going to see our 3-camera racetrack view, and the cars are going to start at the top of the screen on the left. I am going to give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, race. I'll hit the switch. The cars will come firing out of the launcher. They will come from top to bottom. They will pass out of the bottom of the screen on the left. They will show up at the top of the screen in the middle. They will go from top to bottom. They will pass out of the bottom of the screen in the middle and show up at the top of the screen on the right. Our finish line camera, they will come from top to bottom. They will pass across the finish line, under the finish line bridge, and the winning car will be indicated with a solid red light. A solid red light indicates the winning car, and a flashing red light indicates the losing car. The races are best 2 out of 3. The cars will switch lanes after each race, and if a car happens to crash, if a car crashes and leaves the track, no problem. We simply throw out the results of that race and we start it all up again. If a car crashes twice consecutively, then that car is disqualified, because a car that crashes twice consecutively in the exact same way is likely there's a problem with that car and the track and the launch it's getting and all of that, and it's a problem that won't be solved by just rerunning the race. And that is pretty much that. So now we are ready. We are ready to hit the track with all these cars and find out which one is going to challenge the BlitzSpeeder for the fastest in fleet title. So I'm going to gather up these cars. I'm going to head over to the track, and I will see you over there in 30 seconds. See, a little message popped up on that other phone. Low power. No. Let's make sure we've got power to this thing. Let's check. There is, see what the issue is. We got this here. Let's, hang on, I will unplug it and plug it back in and see if that changes or helps. See what we've got. We can't have our finish line camera not functioning properly. So maybe we better get these races underway before anything happens. But I've got an idea if that happens. Checking the audio. Audio's good. All right. And let me know, because I have a little monitor here where I can see the camera. I can see the camera views, but if that message happens to pop up and something or the view goes out, just let me know in the comments so I can switch it out as I get these cars pulled up. Yeah, there's a little, let's see. Some of these, let's see if I can do try a little trick right here, flip it around, then go back. Yeah, sometimes I have to go back and do some color adjustments, especially when the apps update. The app that I use for the cameras, when it updates, so I'll have to go back in and adjust that color. All right, we've got a lot of cars today, a lot of cars. This is going to be a big time race. All right, so let's go ahead and go. Yeah, we'll just do it. We'll just Aero-Pod and Drift Ender. And it's funny because when we started off today, I was thinking that the Drift Ender was going to be when we started off today. Once it was opened up, I was thinking that Drift Ender was going to be our biggest car. I was wrong. The Drift Ender is not our biggest car. Our biggest car now is this Aero-Pod, and I have to figure out how I have to use the taller acrylic cover. And even that, is that going to be big enough? Yeah. It's almost putting the Drift Ender at a disadvantage because, yeah, let's see. Is there, I know what I'm going to do. I'll use our special cover and, yeah, all right. This is what we'll do. Get these cars lined up. We've got the Aero-Pod, this massive, I don't even know how to classify it. This sci-fi, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it, but you've seen it, so you know what I'm talking about. And describe it how you want. All I know is it's huge, and that is what we are looking at and working with here. So let me get on here. Okay. We have the Aero-Pod in lane 2. We have the Drift Ender in lane 1. This is race number 1. I didn't even check because I didn't expect a car this tall. I'm going to have to keep an eye out to see if the Aero-Pod hits the camera tripod. Hopefully it doesn't, but we'll see what happens. All right, here we go. Aero-Pod, lane 2, Drift Ender, lane 1, race 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. That was one of the slowest races I've ever seen, but the drift ender took it. The Aero-Pod did make it. It made it to the finish line, so give it credit for finishing. But it's just a giant vehicle with that. I think that skid plate, that solid skid plate at the bottom, really isn't helping it out. Not helping it out at all. I think when we put this thing in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, we will see just how bad that the aerodynamic profile is on this Aero-Pod. But it's got another shot. It's got another shot to come through and prove itself on the track. Or we will see exactly what we just saw, which is a giant vehicle with a big frontal area going slowly down the track. So here we go. Race number 2. Aero-Pods in lane 1. Drift enders in lane 2. Race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The race was a little faster. Same result. Drift ender takes it. Drift ender moves on. Aero-Pod is not going to be moving forward. So Never Ending still gets credit for making some of the most bold picks that we've ever seen on the track. But this time it didn't work out. So the Aero-Pod's going back into the garage. And now we can remove the special cover. We can remove these lifts. And now we can get back to our regularly scheduled racing situation. Let's go with that. We'll go with the Bubba Wallace Camaro, and we will go with the Shelby. So we will see. This will be Hot Wheels versus Lionel. And again, this Camaro, this Bubba Wallace Black Lives Matter Camaro, is the only non-Hot Wheels, non-Matchbox car in the fleet. So it is unique in that regard. I don't have any of the other NASCAR cars. I've seen them in the stores, but they're all pretty much the same. So you're really just picking based on the design or if there's a driver you follow or something. So we've got the Camaro in lane 2. We've got the Shelby in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo-hoo. Bubba Wallace put the foot down and took race number 1. We have a situation here where the Lionel car may just be fat. It may have a better record against Hot Wheels cars than the Matchbox cars. We haven't found a Matchbox car that's really a top level car, but we may have found one in this Lionel. And like I said, it's the only non-Hot Wheels, non-Matchbox car. And I know that when my son and I, when we first started racing these cars and basically doing a version of At the Track just for our own amusement, we had to just stick with the Hot Wheels cars because there were some of those knockoff cars that were way too light, and it kind of gave them an unfair advantage. Now, our track wasn't this long, and the thing is, with a track this long, this quarter-mile, 1/64 scale quarter-mile drag strip, pretty much drag takes care of cars that are light. So those cheaper cars that don't have a lot of metal, that are all plastic, on a short track, they're fine. But on this long track, drag will take care of those, and take care of those in a very distinct way. So, all right, here we go. Race number 2. We've got the Camaro in lane 1. We've got the Shelby in lane 2. Race number 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Woo. That one was closer. Shelby took it. So the Shelby has evened this up. We are going to a third and final race. Can Bubba Wallace, the Black Lives Matter Lionel Camaro, can it move on? Or will Hot Wheels end up being dominant and knocking this car off the same way the Hot Wheels cars knock off the Matchbox cars? We're going to find out. We're going to find out right now. We are lining up the number 43 Bubba Wallace car in lane 2. The Shelby GT500 2020 edition is in lane 1. Race number 3, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. And Bubba Wallace takes it. Now, the Shelby, problem is, so this was a close race. I mean, well, it started off a little close, but the Shelby went up on 2 wheels and then came back down and settled in and went down the track. But the problem is, in a close race, you can't have those kind of mistakes. And that Shelby messed around and went up on 2 wheels, lost a little bit of time that it never was able to gain again on the track. So, all right, next up, let's go with, we're going to go with Virgo's Motoblade against the 2012 Beetle and see what happens there. The Motoblade, when I was looking at it and when we first weighed it, I thought it was going to be the lightest car of the day. Turns out that's not the case, because Roughshode's Sharkruiser came in even lighter, like by a lot, by like 3 or 4 grams, which isn't a lot, but in terms of Hot Wheels cars, that's a lot. All right, so we've got the Motoblade in lane 2. We have the Volkswagen Beetle in lane 1. Race number 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Oh, that Motoblade, that thing took off like a shot. I said that I was kind of worried that with a light car, drag tends to get those cars at the end of the track and slow them down. That was not the case. Now, maybe it's a fact that the Beetle just isn't fast or isn't fast enough. That could be the case, but that Motoblade took off. And sometimes, you know, if you have a car that is racing a slow car, you know, then you get what you get. And sometimes cars can look a lot faster than they really are when they're racing a slow car. I don't know that that's the case here. It might be a combination. I think the Motoblade's probably fast, and I think that this Beetle might not be all that fast, let's just say. I don't want to say it's necessarily slow, but we'll just be kind and say not really all that fast. Get these cars lined up. The Motoblade is not wanting to stay in position. All right, here we go. All right, we've got the Beetle in lane 2. We've got the Motoblade in lane 1, and we are ready to go. Moritz Weinman, hey, how you doing? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Motoblade took it again with ease. It wasn't as it was a dominant win, but the Beetle was, I'm not gonna say it was competitive. It was just, it was okay. It was fine. All right. But it lost, so it's gone, and we are going to move on to the. We are going to move on to the next race up. And let's see, we're going to go with that Corvette C8 versus the Jet Threat 4.0. So Caitlin's car is going to take on this Corvette. And yeah, Christopher, I've seen that the middle camera is a little darker. I need to go in and adjust the color, but because there may be an issue with the charge on the finish line camera, I don't want to take time to kind of make those adjustments right now, and I'd rather just kind of get through the races, and then afterwards I'll go in and kind of troubleshoot. But yeah, I see that middle camera is a little darker, but as long as we can see the races and see what's happening, then I will be happy we can get through this, and then I'll make some of those adjustments later. And what's my favorite car? My favorite car, it's funny that when I get asked this, because I know what my favorite car is, but it's a car from the that I had when I was a kid, and it's like a 70s, 80s car, and it doesn't have a name on the bottom. And I always forget what the name is. But once we finish the races and go back into the garage, I have it in there, and I'll pull it out, and I will I'll find it in the case, and I'll show you what it is, and I'll remember what the name is. But yeah, it's one of those things that I do have a favorite Hot Wheels car. I just don't remember the name, because there's no name on the bottom. It was weird with some of those older cars. They just didn't have the name on the bottom. So, all right, here we go. We've lined up. We've got Caitlin's Jet Threat 4.0 in lane 2. We have the Corvette C8, CR8, or C8R, whatever. There's some combination of those letters and numbers in there. That is in lane number 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. That Corvette came out, took that race, and it looked pretty good. I think when we did the little review, we were saying that this Corvette is nothing. There's nothing about it that says, hey, this is a special super fast car, but it's pretty much got the standard kind of Lamborghini, Corvette, newer Corvette design and style. And all of those are pretty good as a baseline. Now, sometimes you have the fantasy cars that have the wild designs that perform a little better. But as far as like traditional cars, this Corvette is right in line, and that was a good, solid performance. We're switching lanes for race number 2. Corvette's in lane 2. Jet Threat 4.0 is in lane 1. Caitlin's car's got to come back and take 2 races in a row. We'll see if it can do it. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. That Corvette, maybe I underestimated it. That was a good performance. I'd be curious to see if we end up with that matchup, that Corvette against the Motoblade. Those are the 2 fastest cars that we've seen, at least from the sort of the eye test. We'll find out when they get on the track. But we are now down to, let's see, we've got the Sharkruiser, which is the lightest car. I think, what was it, 24 grams? 24 and a half grams against the big body Mercedes-Benz. I built the track, and it's just kind of evolved. The reason I had to make this surface area for the track is because if you just put the track on the ground, what happens is it turns out that, like most floors, it's not completely level, and there's little kind of bumps, and especially with a track this long, I needed to make sure that it was stable. We have these barriers that keep the track straight and lined up, and that is pretty much how this evolved. Then I, put the lights on and some other things, and then there's lights above because I had to create a structure to actually light the track, because otherwise it's pretty hard to see. All right, here we go. We have the Sharkruiser, the 24-gram Sharkruiser in lane 2. We have the big body Benz in lane number 1. Now, the thing to watch with this Sharkruiser being so light is, does it start to slow down at the back end of the track? Even if it's in the lead, we want to watch and see, does the Mercedes start to close that gap? The Mercedes will probably lose, but if it starts to close that gap at the end of the track, we'll know that the Sharkruiser is slowing down. So that's what there is to look for. Here we go. Race number 1, Sharkruiser lane 2, Mercedes-Benz lane 1. Three, two, one, race. See, I don't know anything. I don't know anything at all. I watch these races, I see these races, and I make these predictions. I sound like I really know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. The Mercedes-Benz destroyed the Sharkruiser. Destroyed it. I mean, we didn't have to wait to look at the end of the race to see what was happening. We saw it right at the beginning. That was an absolute destruction. Wow. I did not expect that at all. Maybe it was a fluke, but when you win by that big of a margin and there wasn't any problem with the launch that I could see, that's not a fluke. But hey, it still is just one win. The Sharkruiser, 24 grams, is going to have to really lock in to get this done. Sharkruiser's in lane 1, Mercedes-Benz in lane 2. We have race number 2 about to start. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Look at this Mercedes coming all the way back. Is it gonna? Uh-oh. So here's the thing. The Mercedes-Benz went to the end of the track, hit the barrier, bounced back, and tapped the launching block. Now, if you haven't been around watching these races for a while, what that means is that we're talking about Isaac Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So the action that we're talking about is the car hitting the barrier at the end of the track. And then the reaction is it bouncing back. And if a car hits the barrier at the end, bounces all the way back, and actually taps the launching block, that tells you how much force it hit the barrier with. And that is, usually cars don't bounce all the way back. Only our fastest cars tend to do that. So that's a sign that this Benz is not a car to be played with, apparently. The Mercedes-Benz 500e making it in. So we're down to our last 5 cars. We're going to go big and small. We're going to go with the drift ender against the Motoblade. So I am going to need to bust out the low, tall acrylic cover. And we're going to pop the Motoblade in to lane number 2. And we are going to put the drift ender in lane number 1 and see which of these cars comes out on top. So we've got the drift ender in lane 1. We have the Motoblade in lane 2. Race 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Woo. So the Motoblade took that, and the Motoblade had the lead, but it didn't keep the lead by a lot. It stayed in front, but it never really opened up a lead. I mean, the lead, the distance that it was leading by didn't seem to change for the majority of the race. So, which means that either both of these cars were kind of slowing down at the same speed, or the no, I guess that is what it means. They were slowing down at the same speed, but it would probably be for different reasons. So let's see. We're switching out, putting the drift ender in lane 2, and we are putting the Motoblade in lane number 1. The Motoblade is already up 1 race to none, and we are going to see what happens. Yeah, there is a All About Aerodynamics. There is a TikTok account. I can't until I haven't done much on TikTok, and so until you get a certain number of followers, subscribers, whatever, they don't let you go live. So I can't do this live, or any of our vertical programs like Wind Tunnel Wednesday. I can't do it live on TikTok until I get enough subscribers. I think it is All About Aerodynamics. If you go to our website, aaerodynamics.com, the link to all of the social media sites are there. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we've got the drift ender in lane 2. We've got the Motoblade in lane 1. This is race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The drift ender. The drift ender was already going to have a hard enough time trying to beat the Motoblade, but instead what happened is it went up on 2 wheels, and then it kind of skidded around, and then it got back on the track. It would have been better off crashing. Like if you start to crash and then you right yourself and get on the track and finish, that's cool, but it's not going to help you win, especially if the other car does not leave the track, because you're just not going to win that way. And the Motoblade, the drift ender, maybe it was never going to win, but it certainly wasn't going to win going up on 2 wheels, riding the barrier, and then coming down. That's just not going to happen. All right, let's see. We're going to go with the Mercedes-Benz against the Bubba Wallace Black Lives Matter Camaro, the Lionel car, the only non-Matchbox, non-Hot Wheels car in our fleet, and it won its first race. But this Mercedes came with some absolute heat, and we are going to find out if it can maintain that, or if that was just sort of the luck of the matchup. But we are going to find out right now. We've got the Camaro in lane 2. We have the Mercedes in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. That Mercedes is like, we're talking about sleeper cars. It's not as much of a sleeper car as the Dogfighter. That's the ultimate. That's the high standard. But it is definitely outperforming my expectations, which were very low at the beginning. So it took that race. We're going to switch lanes and see if it can keep it up, or if we're going to go to a race number 3. And now we have, let's get this Mercedes lined up. And we get the Camaro. Camaro will be in lane number 1. Mercedes is in lane number 2. And here we go. We have the, let me get this lined up just right. All right, the Mercedes is in lane 2. The Camaro is in lane 1. Race number 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. The race was close. Here comes the Mercedes. Is it going to tap? Is it going to tap? Oh, it came up about 2 inches short of tapping the launching block. But again, the fact that it returns all the way to the beginning lets you know just how much speed and force it's hitting that final barrier with. So that is the car that is going to be in the finals. And now we're down to 2 cars to see which of these 2 is going to come out on top. And we have the Corvette, the C8R, and we have the Motoblade. So we've got one last viewer pick. So this is Virgo's pick, the Motoblade. It is light. It's not as light as the Sharkruiser, but it is pretty light at about, I think it was 28 grams, roughly, something like that. And we've got this Corvette coming in, representing the supercars. And here we go. We've got the Motoblade in lane 2, the Corvette's in lane 1, race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Corvette, as you can tell by the solid red light, that was a close race. Corvette took it, and we are now going to find out if the Corvette is going to be challenging the Mercedes-Benz, or if we are going to have a third race. But we are going to need to see something out of the Motoblade, because this Corvette has performed well. It's interesting that the 2 cars today that I pretty much, well, and that Shelby, the cars that I said, well, you know, they're pretty much standard, they're safe picks, have been the cars that have been or possibly about to meet in the finals, 2 of the 3. Okay, so let's get this Motoblade in here. Motoblade is in lane 1. Corvette's in lane 2. Motoblade is going to have to take these next 2 races. It's possible, but it's a tall, it's an uphill challenge. So here we go. Motoblade lane 1, Corvette in lane 2, race 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. That Corvette left no question. It's coming back. Now see where the Corvette came back. It came back about, 2/3 of the way. Now that lets you know that Mercedes-Benz was doing something. All right, so that is going to be our finals. It is going to be the Corvette C8R against the Mercedes-Benz, and we will find out which of these 2 cars is then going to move on to take on our fastest in fleet car, the BlitzSpeeder. So let's get these lined up for our finals matchup, finals showdown. We have the Mercedes-Benz in lane 1. We have the Corvette in lane 2. 2 fastest cars of the day so far. Corvette lane 2, Mercedes lane 1, race 1. This is the finals. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. That Mercedes is wild. It is wild. It didn't come all the way back to the start, but it took that race. I mean, that was wire to wire. It was not playing around. So we've got the Mercedes. One went away from going to the finals. From taking the tournament and then going on to challenge the BlitzSpeeder. And I'll say this right now. The BlitzSpeeder may be in some trouble if this Mercedes can put on one more performance like it has been, this could be the one. And here we go. We've got the Corvette lined up in lane 1. We've got the Mercedes in lane 2. This is race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Here comes the Mercedes. Is it going to tap? Is it going to tap? Yep. The Mercedes-Benz takes the race, takes the tournament, and is now in a position to challenge the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder has been beaten before, and so it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that it gets beaten again. So now the BlitzSpeeder has to line up against this Mercedes, and we are going to find out right now if this Mercedes has been streaking down the track, tapping the barrier, coming all the way back, tapping the launching block multiple times. Mercedes-Benz 500E is lining up in lane 2. The BlitzSpeeder, the 3-time fastest in fleet car and current reigning, defending, conquering champion, is in lane 1. And this is race number 1 for the fastest in fleet title. We've got the BlitzSpeeder lane 1, Mercedes-Benz 500 in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Mercedes, as you can tell from the solid light, has beaten the BlitzSpeeder. It's taken 1. The BlitzSpeeder is going to need to come back and take 2 races from this Mercedes. This Mercedes, which came out of that 8-pack, it was just sitting there. It wasn't the reason why I bought the 8-pack. It wasn't the reason why I decided to keep the 8-pack. I didn't expect much from it. I thought it would be a one-and-done car. It is here. It is 1 race away. 1 race away from becoming our fastest in fleet champion and knocking off the BlitzSpeeder. This is going to be interesting. The Mercedes, 1 win away from beating the 3-time champion. The BlitzSpeeder has been the champion for the majority of the time that we've been for the past year. And it was around this time last year, maybe a month or so out, that the BlitzSpeeder lost to the Gazella R, which came out of nowhere, out of a random pack. So here we go. The BlitzSpeeder is in lane 2. The Mercedes-Benz is in lane 1. The Mercedes-Benz is up 1 race to none. If it takes this, it is the new fastest in fleet car. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Benzo takes it. The Mercedes-Benz 500 is the fastest in fleet car. The Mercedes-Benz 500E is our new fastest in fleet car. I had no expectations that it would be. I thought that it was going to be beaten out in the earlier rounds, and that is absolutely not the case. It is our new fastest in fleet car. And I mean, we're going to have to take a look at this one in the garage, see what and why. But before we do that, we do have one more matchup. And it's not really a matchup. It's something we're kind of testing out. Is we have 2 BlitzSpeeders, and we have one that I took the top off of. So it's now like a convertible roadster version. And I didn't check the weight to see what difference the top versus no top would make. And so we are going to put them both in, run a couple of races, and just see which car comes out on top. The one with the covering over the driver's area, or the one without. And here we go. So the convertible version, the Roadster Edition BlitzSpeeder, is in lane 1, and the one with the covered top is in lane 2. So here we go. Race number 1. Three, two, one, race. So that race was close, but the version that has the covering, the standard one, is the one that came out on top. We're going to switch lanes and see if that is still the case when we change lanes for race number 2. And we will find out. Put the convertible Roadster Edition BlitzSpeeder in lane 2, and the traditional BlitzSpeeder in lane number 1. Race number 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Oh. This time the convertible Roadster Edition came out on top. So now, let's see. Let's see which which edition. All right, let's go here, and we will switch lanes one more time. And I think I would have to run a lot more races to really come up with any specific conclusions, but right now it's 1-to-1, so who knows. All right, we've got the convertible version in lane 1. We've got the covered standard edition in lane 2. Race 3, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Wow. So that we had each car won one race, and then that race was very close. I had to look at the lights at the end of the track to tell which car won, and it was the car with the standard cover, but that they were pretty much neck and neck. So I don't know that there wasn't a clear indication that one car had an advantage. I'd have to run a lot more races like I did when I raced these two when they both had the same cover. But let me gather up these cars, head back in the garage, and we'll take a look at our new fastest in fleet car, our new champion. So here we go. Just let me get these cars, and I'll be right back in a minute. And this is our newest, fastest in fleet car. It is this one. It is the Mercedes-Benz. Get this here for a little contrast, which I guess I'm going to have to start using. The Mercedes-Benz 500E somehow, some way, I mean, destroyed the, well, I'm not going to say destroyed. The races weren't that bad, but it beat the BlitzSpeeder and it beat the other cars, and I knew that we were going to have, it was going to be, this car was going to be a problem when I saw it come back and tap the starting block. That is something that doesn't typically happen, only with our fastest cars, and I wasn't expecting this car to be one of our fastest cars, but here it is. That's why you have to run the races. I mean, this is just pretty wild. There's nothing about this car that had me think that it was going to be one of our fastest cars. What was the weight on this one? This one came in at 37.4. So it is outside of what we tended to, and what we usually consider the sweet spot, which is 32 to 36 grams, which is where cars traditionally have performed well, cars in that weight range. And let's see, your dad drove one. Did your dad drive it? I wonder if your dad drove it that fast, because this car it's a total and complete surprise. The cars that we have seen drive and perform well on the track, usually outside of the dogfighter, they're all pretty much have a kind of standard look and feel. They're usually they're like more sleek cars. They don't have a big frontal area, and they usually have a wing towards the back that's kind of elevated at about the roof line, and that is not this car. This car is sort of the opposite. So it just goes to show that you don't really know until the cars hit the track. And that's what I explained to the students, is that you can have all these ideas. We watched the races. That's our research. We've watched all the races. We know about the cars. We've seen which cars do well, don't do well. We've seen all that historical information. We use that to make our picks and kind of then have our hypothesis and our guess about how the car is going to perform. But then it all comes down to the experiment, and you have to conduct the experiment. And we conducted the experiment, and in the experiment, this car absolutely destroyed the other cars. I mean, it's shocking. So now that we know that this car is our fastest in-fleet car, we saw what this car did on the track. Now we have to start asking the question, why? What is it about this car? It's outside of the weight range. It's outside of the kind of style that we see cars typically doing well with. So its aerodynamic profile is different than the cars that usually perform well. There's just a lot going on, and it's so different between this car and the dogfighter. There's so much that we can't be certain about when we're racing these cars. So when Never Ending makes these wild, crazy picks, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but it just goes to show that you can't really be certain. It's like, it's not always going to be, a standard kind of thing. Like, it's not always going to be the Bugatti that wins the race. It's not always going to be the Porsche or the Ferrari or the Corvette. Sometimes it is going to be the strange car, the weird one, the one that nobody thought much of. That car, the Mercedes-Benz. This one, the dogfighter. Those two cars have kind of flipped everything that I have thought about the Hot Wheels racing, kind of flipped it on its ear and made me have to go back and kind of rethink, like, okay, what are the cars that are going to be fastest? So now it kind of opens up the whole fleet of cars. We are up to 947 cars in the fleet, and now anything's possible. The BlitzSpeeder was so dominant for so long, I thought that might be the ultimate fastest Hot Wheels car, period. But it's been beaten. It's been beaten by both of these cars. It's been beaten by the Gazella R. But these cars, the dogfighter, has been beaten. So now the question is this Mercedes, is that the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet? Or is there another car in the fleet right now, or another car that I'm going to be introducing that is going to end up beating out this one? I'd say yes, there's a car in there that is going to be faster than this one, but until we find it, this is our fastest in fleet champion. This is the car that the other ones are going to have to figure out a way to catch and beat. And if they can't, then we will be looking at this car for quite some time, because that was a lot of power and a lot of speed that this car was moving down the track with. And it was just totally unexpected. So there we go. We have, that was a great set of races that we had. And we had a whole, like, just wide range of cars and types and styles and weights and everything in there. And we got a new fastest in fleet champion. So now we have begun the Mercedes-Benz, 500E era. So that's where we are. So next week, when we come up here, we will be trying to beat out that car. Oh, yeah. 2 questions. Are you? Yeah. So I teach a class, course called All About Aerodynamics, and I moved. Where did I move that thing to? Hang on. I just had. Hang on. Let me grab the other car that I was going to show you. I have it here. So I teach a course called All About Aerodynamics, which is a science course that uses Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics related topics. And this is, you can find out more if you go to our website, aaerodynamics.com. But this is my favorite Hot Wheels car right here, since you asked. And switch over. It is this one. I had this one since I was a kid. And this one, that's why it looks like this, because it's all beat up and played with. I do have another version, I bought a newer one. But this is the original one that I had. It's got the gold Hot Ones wheels. It is I forget the name of this one. Because it's not on the bottom. I want to say like Torino's Stalker, but I don't think that's it. So this one, like you can see there, there's no information on the bottom other than Hong Kong 1976, patent pending, all that stuff. But it's in the fleet. But this has the OG, the original gold Hot Ones wheels. And what that means is that the axles are nickel plated. And so these cars are pretty fast. Especially, you'll see them a lot on, not this car specifically, but on a lot of gravity tracks. You'll see some of those old school gold Hot Ones wheels, those metal on metal cars, in there doing pretty well. Like especially like these two, this front running Fairmont. This was the first Hot Wheels car I ever had, and then the next one. These were the first two that came with the first track I had, and that first track was a flat drag track, so that's probably why I am drawn to those. That 80s Firebird. So those first 3 cars are all gold Hot Ones cars that have the wheels. And I know that, like I said, I put a version of my favorite car in there, but I can't, I don't know why I can't remember the name, but anyway, that's the car. And then Christopher already has his picks for next week, for Wind Tunnel Wednesday locked in. And if Moritz, if you want to participate and pick, all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, and then it will take, if you select choose a car, it will take you to this page. And on this page, you will have the opportunity to scroll through, find a car that you want to race, and when you do, all you have to do is take that number and drop it in the chat. And if it's a Saturday, I will pull the car and we'll put it in the races just like you saw. And if you do it on Wednesday, then we will take the car and we will put it in the wind tunnel. So that's Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific. Wind Tunnel Wednesday, we will have the cars in there. Christopher's going to the Turbo Rooster, which is one that Never Ending picked a couple of weeks back, but I believe he picked a different one. It was a different color. So we've got the Turbo Rooster, and then he's also considering car number 767, which will be, what is that in European time? I don't know, but if you Google, like a time chart, or something, let's see, actually, it would be 3 hours from right now, because it's here in California, it is 1:19 p.m., so 3 hours from now would be 4:19 p.m. So whatever time that would be where you are, that's what time will be up using the wind tunnel on Wednesday. And then on Saturdays, it's 11 a.m. Pacific. So basically 2.5 hours earlier than now is when we get started. And if you can't watch live, you can always catch past episodes on our YouTube channel. Just click on the Live tab, and all the episodes are there. So if you can't watch in person, what you can do is on our Instagram account, you can just send me a DM and let me know which car you've selected, and then that way, even if you can't watch live, I'll pull your car and make sure that we put it in the wind tunnel and race it and do all of those things, and then you can see how it performed later. This Gordon Murray Automotive T50S is the other car that Christopher is considering. And again, this is kind of the more traditional supercar style that we've seen do well on the track. But now with this Mercedes doing what it did, who knows? And right besides that is the Gazella R. That was our champion for a while, and you can see kind of the similarities that it has with the BlitzSpeeder and with some of the other cars that have performed well. But now we have a new champ, and our new champion, the Mercedes-Benz 500E, is at least until next week, until we find another car to beat it out, this is the car. And so we had a good week of racing, and I think we will have more excitement now that we have a new champion and new challengers, so that's going to be interesting. And we will be here on Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific. That Aero-Pod is going in the wind tunnel because I have to see what was going on with that thing. It was so slow. I have an idea, but I need to see. We have to put it in the wind tunnel and check it out. The Mercedes-Benz is going in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, in addition to the cars that you've picked. So Christopher has 2 cars selected that are going to go into the wind tunnel, and we will see which one he chooses. We'll find out which ones I'm going to pull out of storage. So we've got a lot going on as we sort of make that slow march towards 1,000 cars. Yeah, all about aerodynamics. So for All About Aerodynamics, for At The Track Live, and for Wind Tunnel Wednesday, I am Coach James, and until next time, I will see you at the races.